Are we on, Trev? Are we on? Hello everyone and welcome to this very unusual edition of BeerSwedenTV. There's no room, Trev. BeerSwedenTV. Here, look. Now I'll keep that there because I might need it, because I might throw up in it a little bit later on. I'll throw up in it, but you know, obviously. Today we are going to talk about something that I talk about all the time when I'm going out and talking about beer tasting. And that is the flavours of beer, the smells of beer. And often, of course, we're describing, if you read the blog or if you follow other blogs on the internet out there, you'll know that we use a lot of different sort of phrases that quite sort of wine-speaky when we're describing beers having orchard fruits or soft sort of walnut tones and, you know, those sorts of metaphors and descriptors. And I thought what I'd do is I'll try and sort of bring it back to reality really, and actually just try some of the flavours that you can basically taste every day. It's things that if you basically raid your cupboard, you can come up with a lot of these flavours, and it's a good thing to do actually because it kind of trains your palate. So I do recommend that, you know, if you want to get into beer in a bit of a bigger way, then try this. It's a lot of fun. It's not terribly expensive. We've been down to Willie's this morning, haven't we, Trev? Trev and I, like an old couple, walking around with our little bags. And we put a few things in our shopping basket. We brought them back here, and I'm going to actually try and attempt to eat and sort of taste them and tell you the sorts of beers and so on that these flavours represent. Okay. Now I've got some water. I think I'm going to need some. There's no beer whatsoever, so let's just dive straight into all this. This is in no particular order. I'm really not quite sure what's going to happen here, but we're just going to go for it. All right, Trev? Now the first thing I'm going to do is try some cereal. Now I seem to remember you get a free present in every box of one of these things, don't you, Trev? Okay. The first thing we're going to try is malty flavours. Now, of course, beer has two major components. It have malty flavours, and they come from obviously the malt, so you're getting a lot of sort of bready, nutty sorts of tones. That's from the malt side of the family of taste, as it were. The other side comes from the hops, and the sort of hoppy flavours we've got over on this side of the table, roughly, and the malty ones we've got over here. So, carbon jars, everyone's got them. Really nice in the morning, and you get that really sort of cereal type sort of crunch, and I get that in a lot of ales and that sort of thing. Always wake up in the morning with starch, Trev. A little bit sweet to this one, but definitely with ales, any sorts of top fermenting beers, you're generally finding these sort of muesli and cereal tones in them. What do you think, Trev? Muesli, who eats that? Let's be honest, eh? Awful stuff. Another thing that you'll find that's actually quite common, in fact incredibly common in beer, again, this is more on the sort of ale side, but you also get it in light lagers as well. In lighter lagers you tend to get white or very light sort of bready notes. Quite soft, sort of background sort of notes, not terribly strong. But of course, the more malt and the more roasted it is, the more sort of roasted and characters you get. You can trade up a little bit. This sort of pumpernickel bread. You like pumpernickel bread, Jeff? You get that a lot in some beers too. And even more so, knäckebröd. Did I say that right, Trev? I didn't say it right. Can you please tell me how do you pronounce it?
Knäckebröd.
Huh?
Knäckebröd.
Knäckebröd. Oh, actually, stale knäckebröd. Anyway, again, lots of these flavours, extremely prevalent in all the beers that you're going to try. Popcorn, not the sweet stuff, Trev, not the stuff we get in the UK, this is the salty stuff. Again, popcorn kind of reminds me of slightly cheap, industrial sort of macro lager. Another thing you might get in macro lager as well, butter. Now, butter, I love butter, Trev, but not like this. Butter is actually a byproduct of the fermentation process. Buttery flavour, it's called diacetyl. And it's actually welcome in a lot of beer styles. You know, there's a lot of lagers and ales that actually allow for a certain amount of diacetyl, but not too much. So if you get some very buttery butterscotch types of beers, they're off flavours, and you tend to find them, unfortunately, in cheaper sort of stuff and cheaper sort of lagers. You also tend to get, at the same time as butter, you tend to get wheat corn. So if you smell or taste sweet corn and butter, I think you pretty much know that you just pour it away and try something else, okay? They're not two flavours that I particularly want in my beers. Slightly more roasted, you have to go to burnt bread. Very common in porters, stouts, when you're getting this really quite burnt quality. Lovely stuff. Okay, what else, Trev?
Chocolate.
Chocolate. Chocolate. Chocolate is an incredibly important ingredient. Something you'll come across time and time again. Obviously dark beers we're talking about here. We're going way away from the light side of beers towards, again, more porter and stout styles. And chocolate is one of those absolute givens. It's always there. Which is 70%, quite dark, bitter chocolate. Now we're talking, Trev. This is gorgeous. I'm quite enjoying this. And what do you have with it? What always comes with chocolate? Pretty much always coffee. Now, Trev, I didn't have any of the coffee granules. I've only got the
Instant.
Yeah, I didn't have that. So,
Oh.
but coffee flavours there. Very nice. Yeah, very nice combination. But as I say,
Ättiksprit. Ättiksprit.
Yeah. Now I'll come back to that. Again, with coffee and with chocolate, you tend to find burnt sugar. Now I couldn't really do that, but the dark brown sort of sugar. Always nice, Jack. Also, very, very common. There's a little trilogy there. You find those, as I say, in porters and stout. Okay, that's that side of it. Ales. Very common to get sort of raisiny notes and sort of berry notes in ales. Also, plums, quite common as well. This is the hops that are giving you these flavours. Along with the yeast, they can throw out some very sort of estery, fruity esters. Another one, Trev, look at that. What's it? I don't want to eat that. It looks like a piece of sort of chewing gum that you found, like, you know, it's been under a school desk for about 50 years.
He said plums.
I said plums, yeah. It's a fig, dry fig. I hate dry fig. But fig flavour, again, very, very common. Very, very common in a lot of the beers you're going to try. Again, keep it on the sort of malt side. Walnut, hazelnut, absolute givens. And again, this sort of sugar complexity. Where's the spoon, Trev? Syrup. When you have a beer that's got a lot of residual sugar, where the yeast hasn't actually attenuated fully, and you've still got a lot of sugar left in the beer, this is with stronger, more alcoholic beers. You tend to get this sort of maple syrup. Sweet, very, very sweet. God, that's sweet, Trev. Sort of vibe to the whole thing. Okay, where are we, Trev?